the agency. What's important is the requester knows who to go to ask for information. The receiving officer will then conduct an initial evaluation of the request and whether or not the agency possesses that information. Afterwards, if the agency possesses that information, he transmits it to the FOI decision maker, who may be either your bureau chief, your division chief, your director 1, director 2, director 3, or in our case at the PCOO, I am the decision maker for PCOO, I am an assistant secretary. It all depends on the agency. As a decision maker, I will evaluate the information, make sure it's not amongst in the exceptions that we have that information, then I will either deny or approve the request, return it to the receiving officer will contact the requestor, and presto, that's your information. We conducted FOI workshops last year for all agencies, and we had 178 government agencies who were present. All right, let me just share you with our story of how we conceptualized with the FOI program. Because we are late already in the game. Other countries have implemented FOI as far back as 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago. The US implemented FOI back in the late 60s. The UK implemented FOI in the early 2000s. As you can see on the screen, there is a high influx of FOI requests in the first year, and we feared the frontliners of the different NGAs would be stressed out. There'd be long lines, and then you'd have stressed frontliners. No? A lot of you here are frontliners of your different regional and city offices, and we fear na baka mamaya ang daming magkaroon ng problema. And so we embraced what is practiced in other countries, which is proactive disclosure. And we encourage government agencies to disclose as much information out. That's why we have the transparency seal. The transparency seal is a requirement of the DBM requiring all agencies who maintain websites to post the agency mandates, the list of officers, the financial statements, the budgetary plans, so on and so forth. That is a form of proactive disclosure. We learned that if information is disclosed in advance, then the people will ask less information because it's already out there. And then we also learned from other countries, and we made a FOI website. It's called it's foi.gov.ph, and there you can browse requests because people may have asked your questions already. And then you can also browse the agencies and make an FOI request online. Unfortunately, not all agencies are on the online facility, and this I have to emphasize, okay? All NGAs under the executive branch are part of the FOI, meaning paper-based, personal, manual submission, but not all are in the online facility because of budgetary and time constraints. Right now, we have 34 agencies on board FOI. If you visit the website, you will see what these agencies are. They consist of the DBM, DOF, DICT, Department of Transportation, Department of Health, DOJ, PNP, and different attached agencies. Our vision at the PCOO is to have all NGAs be on the FOI website by the end of this year, so that people in Baguio don't need to go down to Manila to ask information from Malacanang. They can simply email it to us using the portal. So the FOI program is open data plus FOI. Under FOI, the subcomponents are standard FOI and electronic FOI. There you go. And this is my final slide because I know most of you here are interested. Okay, we know the general rules. Ano po yung mga exceptions? Ito po ang mga exceptions. You don't need to take a picture because it's also available on our website under the Resources tab. There are 9 FOI exceptions, and it's no different from other countries. The US and Australia and the UK have more or less the same number of exceptions. Number 1, executive privilege. Any form of communication documents between a department and the president wherein the President exercises his decision-making powers is not disclosable to the public because of national security concerns. Second, national security, defense, and international relations. Any dialogue, negotiation between the Philippines and other countries is protected by international law, cannot be disclosed. Any information between the AFP, the PNP, the NBI with the President in terms of where will our troops go is also confidential information because of national security. Can you imagine if a requester can ask where is the next mission of the AFP in Mindanao? Then the ISIS and the Abu Sayyaf will know where to go and escape the authorities. Next, law enforcement, protection of public and personal safety. Let me share with you that the list of exceptions did not produce any new exceptions. Because an executive order cannot rise higher than law, the executive order can only gather what are the existing exceptions, and all of these exceptions are based in law, jurisprudence, and existing rules and regulations. Number 3 encompasses all penal laws, all criminal laws. So you have the anti-carnapping law, you have the informants law, you have the witness protection program law. Meaning to say, a requester cannot ask who are the witnesses in the witness protection program, who are the informants under the anti-carnapping law. If they're able to access that information, they will be able to harass those witnesses. And by reason of law and public policy, those information cannot be disclosed. You have confidential information that is protecting private information. This is Data Privacy Act. We have the Data Privacy Act of 2012 saying that you cannot disclose sensitive personal information. This applies to COMELEC, this applies to DTI, the Department of Health, who collate data. They cannot release that personal information, your address, your mobile phone number, and so forth. Confidential information by reason of official capacity. You have your board meetings, you submit your board meetings to the higher ups, you cannot disclose that. Prejudicial premature disclosure, this involves government financial institutions, including the BSP, the SSS, the GSIS, who use member contributions to invest their money in the market and securities. They cannot release information on where they will invest member contributions. Can you imagine if a requester can ask the GSIS, where will you be investing our money next year? And the GSIS is required to tell them, oh, we will invest in Meralco and Baugio Country Club. The very next day, that requester will invest in the Baugio Country Club and the Meralco, and then you will have market instability. You cannot request that information. That is protected information under prejudicial premature disclosure. It is prejudicial premature disclosure. Court proceedings cannot be disclosed. It goes without saying. Confidential information under banking and finance laws. This is the Foreign Currency Deposit Act, the Bank Secrecy Law, AMLA Law, all existing laws, nothing new there. And of course, other exceptions under laws, jurisprudence, and IRR. Everything else can be viewed on our website, foi.gov.ph. Thank you very much. I can now answer your questions.
At iyan po ang naging presentasyon ni Communications Assistant Secretary Christian Ablan patungkol sa Freedom of Information o yung FOI. Ito pong FOI, yan po yung Executive Order number 2 na nilagdaan ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte noong July 23, 2016. Makasaysayan nga po yung FOI dahil wala pang isang buwan sa pwesto si Pangulong Duterte ay agad na niyang nalagdaan samantalang matagal na po yung nakabinbin para isulong na rin sa mga nakaraang administrasyon. Ito pong FOI, mga kababayan, ay nagbibigay ng constitutional rights sa publiko na makakuha ng mga kinakailangang impormasyon mula sa pamahalaan na kailangang ma-process sa loob lamang ng 15 araw. Maaring kumuha ng mga impormasyon as long as ito po ay hindi highly confidential at hindi maglalagay sa alanganin ng seguridad ng bansa. Samantala, bago po yung naging presentation ni ASEC Christian Ablan sa FOI, ay nagbigay naman muna ng keynote speech si Communications Secretary Martin Andanar kung saan binigyang diin niya na pangunahing layunin ng PCO ASEAN Roadshow ay maibaba at lubos na maipaliwanag sa ating mga kababayan kung ano nga ba ang ASEAN at kung gaano kahalaga ang Philippine chairmanship natin para sa ASEAN 2017. Ang Association of Southeast Asian Nations na binubuo bumubuo ng 10 miyembro ang Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Indonesia at tayo po, Philippines, ay binubuo ng 630 million population. Subalit sinabi nga kanina ni Secretary Andanar na 24% lang ang may basic knowledge tungkol sa ASEAN. Kaya naman para dito sa PCO ASEAN Roadshow, mahalaga na lubos nila ang maintindihan. Yan naman po ang mga huling kaganapan dito po sa PCO ASEAN Roadshow na nagpapatuloy pa rin sa Baugio City. Samantala po, patuloy niyo pa rin kaming mapapanood ng live online via YouTube at Daily Motion via at PTV Philippines at maaari niyo pong sundan ang aming social media at updates via Facebook at Twitter via at PTV PH. Magbabalik po kami mamaya para sa kapihan sa Baguio at Dialogue with Media na pangunahan din ni Secretary Martin Andanar. Ako po si Sweden Balado para sa PTV.
We still need a law. We need a law to include Congress, judiciary,